Hell in a Cell. I can't do it, Vince. Hey everybody, JK Calloway here at Real JK Calloway, and this Sunday is Hell in a Cell, which is a SmackDown brand pay-per-view. We did a predictions and fantasy booking video for this past No Mercy, which was Raw. Now it's time to tackle some Hell in a Cell, which is... Stop naming pay-per-views after match stipulations. It's weird. When are we going to have WWE submission match pay-per-view? WWE I Quit this Sunday. Kickoff show match, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Bros. I'm going to assume they're not going to do anything important. I would love to see, Sheldon turn heel on Chad Gable or something, just to get him going, because are they really going to bring him in just to replace Jason Jordan? It's kind of dumb. More likely than not, what they've been teasing for quite a while is actually the Hype Bros are going to split up, or they're going to turn heel together. I can't really tell, they're just kind of in the background, but they're like moody little jocks or something. I don't know what's going on with them. I do think that's what's going to happen, though, is Gable and Benjamin will win, and then the Hype Bros will attack them, turning full heel, and maybe even injuring one of them, and get them moving on something. So, first prediction down in the kickoff show. You're welcome. I also think they're going to do the Fashion Files on the kickoff show, because I think they're just going to push it to Survivor Series as the big reveal of who attacked them backstage, which I think everyone's more or less forgotten about at this point. Fantasy booking, it was the Young Bucks. It wasn't. They're not getting signed anytime soon. On to the main show, and I do think they will start off with Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler. The battle of the entrances, apparently, which is a weird way to have a feud start, but they're going to start building up Bobby Roode. I don't think they're going to let Dolph go over, even though they're trying to restart him. It's a really weird first feud for Bobby Roode to have on the main roster, because it's like, you're going to put him with someone you're trying to repackage in a way and get him going, but you're going to put him against a babyface who's trying to get going, who probably by Survivor Series is going to be going after the US title or something. It's a weird combination of feuds, because whoever loses is kind of screwed. It's a weird place to be. I do think Bobby Roode will win, and he'll start going after the US title. Maybe even Baron Corbin beats AJ later. We'll get into that later. I would love if they did a double turn. I don't think the match warrants such a thing, but they could do a double turn. Bobby Roode works way better as a heel, and I think Ziggler works better as a babyface. He's just not a believable bad guy. He's too small. His hair is too luxurious. It doesn't make sense. On to Randy Orton versus Rusev. Hopefully they start getting both guys going, because frankly Randy's lost forever. Since Mania, basically. He got a quick win over Rusev at SummerSlam, because I'm guessing they got cut for time. And now they're going to wrestle again. Actually build a bit of a story between the two, which has been good. Everyone in the IWC, Internet Wrestling community, for you nerds watching this having no idea what wrestling is, why are you here? Everyone likes Rusev. They want to see him do something of note, because he's got a great look, and works the mic really well, and it's really entertaining. So I'm hoping Rusev wins so they can get him moving towards something, just like Bobby Roode. But I don't know. I don't know if Randy will lay down for anyone at this point. He's been doing jobs to Jinder Mahal for 3 months. I think he wants to win for a while. But I really don't know. I mean, hopefully Rusev wins, because I think it's going to be a babyface heavy night overall. But no real fantasy booking here. It's just a match to give these guys something to do. Hopefully a win over Randy in a good match. Show what they both can do would be good. And then Rusev can go after the world title later. That'd be good. This is where I think they'll put the first Hell in a Cell match, which is, of course, the tag team title match. The Usos versus the New Day, which is basically, as far as wrestling goes, has been the savior of every pay-per-view since they started feuding. They're just outstanding together. All I hear online is people want this feud to end because they're sick of it. Screw that. They're great together. Make them wrestle forever. And it's, I think, the first tag match in Hell in a Cell. I think they did like a Legacy versus DX thing, where that was a handicap match, so technically it doesn't count. But certainly the first one for the tag titles, I think. I don't think that other one was. So I'm very interested to see what they're allowed to do, because I don't think they're going to be allowed to take the steam out of Shane and Kevin Owens later. So I think they're going to stay in the cage. I don't think they're going to get out, just because they're going to save that for Shane and Kevin Owens later, which is a shame, because I think these 4/5 guys can easily put a better match on than Shane and Kevin. And that's not knocking Kevin. It's knocking the other one. You know, I'm fairly confused as to who might win this one, because I think whoever loses is probably going to split, because they've kind of, both teams have kind of done everything they can with it. So I think, honestly, I think the Usos are going to win, because they're brothers, and also because their whole gimmick has been around a little less than the New Day. The New Day has kind of run its course at this point, and I would like to see what all three guys can do on their own. It would be good, or even just have one of them break off, like the Shield did. You know, have one of them turn heel, the other two stay face. Ideally, Xavier Woods turning heel, because he can do it. I remember they had Kofi be heel when the New Day started, and it was just like, nope. Nah, you're too much of a cool guy, man. We don't want to boo you. E could do it, because he's got the size and everything, but he's ridiculously charismatic. But like both Kofi and E, while they are extremely charismatic, I don't think they have the range Xavier does. Like, Xavier could pull off just a prick of a heel, and I would like to see that. That's my fantasy booking as to maybe what happens after the match, but I think Usos should win and have a lengthy run, probably till Mania, until someone can take them down. Maybe even the Fashion Police. Oh, fantasies. Up next will be the piss break match of the night, which sucks because it's for the United States title. AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin, and I think we can all agree, bleh. Who doesn't love AJ? He's an incredible worker, tells great stories, and not that Baron's bad, but everyone's kind of indifferent to him, you know? Like, he's just there. Like, when he first started in NXT and he was doing squash match after squash match, like, name the best Baron Corbin match you've seen. You know? I think most everyone's kind of indifferent to the feud. I think everyone just wants AJ to win and move on. Maybe even have a program with Jinder if he retains, which we'll get to. Because having the US title and the WWE title in a program together would be really interesting, even if it's just for Survivor Series. Is that my fantasy booking? Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing AJ and Jinder title for title. You don't get to see that too often, so that'd be cool. And it might actually make Jinder interesting. I don't know. They might put the strap on Baron, the US title, I should say, the US title on Baron Corbin and have him have a monster dick run with it. That wouldn't be all that bad, because then AJ can move back up to the WWE title picture. That would be good, and then Baron can kind of, you know, run the mid-card for a little bit. I think that would be a good place for him right now. Maybe, you know, give him a belt. He looked good with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He handled himself well. Give him a belt. You know, if they weren't ready for the big one, give him the mid one. So yeah, I think Baron Corbin is going to win. There might be some shenanigans. Maybe Ty Dillinger comes out and while trying to, you know, screw with Baron, or something like that distracts AJ. AJ and Ty can have a little feud before AJ goes to the main event card. I don't know. Yeah. I think Baron will win. I don't think he'll win clean, but he'll win. Have a nice little U.S. title run. On to the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match. Natalya versus Charlotte. Charlotte wins. I have zero fantasy booking for this because Charlotte wins. Like, what else are you going to do? Surprise me. Please surprise me. Have Paige do a run-in. I don't care. Just Charlotte wins. Semi-main event. Of course, it's going to be for the WWE title. The most lackluster feud in the history of time. Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Can you believe I'm saying the word lackluster in the same sentence as Shinsuke? It's like, man, do they not know how to treat people sometimes. So basically the whole feud, going back to SummerSlam, has been Jinder Mahal, who is of Indian descent, but he's Canadian, saying that people won't accept Shinsuke because he's Japanese. And then he goes on to say just impressively racist shit. Like, what? I get that Trump is president, and that shit is more acceptable than it has been in 50 years. But goddamn, like, really, you're gonna... Ugh, it's just depressing as hell. And I don't think they're gonna take it off Jinder yet because they haven't built Shinsuke into, you know, a WWE champion yet. He's like, he clearly has the ability, he has the charisma, his mic work is as good as it can be for someone speaking a second goddamn language. I might have been wrong about the piss break match. This might be it. Like, name a good match Jinder has given ever. I get that they have Jinder as the champion because they want to build the market in India, so they make Jinder the champion while he's still a bad guy. Makes sense. But they haven't built Shinsuke into being a champion yet, so like, if he wins, it'll be alright, cool, but now what? You know, like, it won't be like a big, like, oh, he overcame the odds and now he's the guy, and that's kind of what you need him to be. Here's hoping they're having some long-term planning in their heads, and they're building toward AJ and Shinsuke for WrestleMania for that title. I don't know that they're going to do that. I think they should, because that would be just... Fantasy booking aside, I think it's going to be Jinder winning. Probably till Survivor Series, and then AJ takes it away from him, maybe. I don't really know. I can't imagine they're going to keep it on him much longer, but they haven't built Shinsuke to be the guy yet, so I think they're going to keep it on Jinder. On to the main event of the evening, and the only storyline they've given any care to over the past month. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens inside Hell in a Cell, and hopefully, like I said, New Day and Usos don't take away too much of their steam as far as what they can do in the cell, or outside of it for that matter. They've always done this, but they treat it like we have zero memory whatsoever. Shane has been a part of, I want to say, 3 matches since coming back. One at Mania with Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, which he lost. One at last year's Survivor Series, team versus team thing, and he lost. And then at this year's WrestleMania with AJ, and he lost. So I don't actually think the long-term plan for him is to make him into a legitimate worker, like he's a wrestler every week, so he's challenging for titles or anything. But do they really want him to lose? I don't think they do, and this one's like more of a personal story, and like his family's involved. But I don't think they'll let Shane win. They it would absolutely destroy Kevin Owens' credibility if he lost to Shane. So hopefully Kevin Owens wins. I think he will. Hopefully it's not too scary a process to get there, because Shane doesn't mind killing himself. And then afterward, hopefully Kevin moves back to Raw. I think there's more for him to do there, obviously, if he's fighting Shane. Nah. Maybe even go after the Universal title because, you know, not that they would ever bring it up, but he never got a rematch from Goldberg, remember? Meh. It does seem like all reports are pointing that way, that he's going to go back to Raw after this feud with Shane, which makes sense. I mean, why would Shane still employ him? He hurt his dad and then fought him. Why would you not fire him or at least get him off your show? So yeah, there's my predictions and my fantasy booking here and there. Actually, it wasn't all that much fantasy booking because this night seems pretty cut and dry, honestly. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think should happen or will happen. Head over to Twitter at RealJKCalloway. You can tell me what you think there as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is JK Calloway, and we'll talk to you again at the next pay-per-view.